G'day. I have a very new double IPA from Bare Old Souls in Saco, Maine, very close to Portland, Maine, but I didn't get it on my recent trip. This was at a Cappy's on the South Shore, and it was canned only 10 days ago. It's called Continuum. For some reason, the store had it, even though it's not anywhere in Boston, and Boston is closer to this brewery, whatever. It's brewed with Citra, Amarillo, and Ella hops, 8% alcohol. That's all they tell you about it. So let's just do the thing. Their label designs are usually pretty cool, and I've enjoyed the double IPAs I've had from them. Most recently have a review of their triple IPA, which is pretty darn good, even though triple IPAs are usually a bit much for me. Looks nice and milky orange, and they always have really nice head retention on their beers. And sometimes I feel like it might be because they really give it pretty high carbonation, but I think it's just also because they just know what they're doing. They brew all these different styles and do them very well. I highly recommend going to their brewery, where you'll usually have a chance to try a bunch of their really strong stuff and some of the barrel-aged stuff that's really hard to get your hands on otherwise. But that looks really hazy. My gosh, that's opaque. There's nothing coming through there. I don't know how it's showing up on camera, but it's pretty pale. You hold this a little light, but my gosh, that is one of the hazier beers I've seen as of late. There's a little bit of an old-fashioned Myrcene green hop resinous quality that I'm getting from Amarillo. I feel like Amarillo is kind of going out of style. It's used in blends of hops, but I feel like you see it less and less in these hop blends because people want more tropical, more exotic hop flavors. But Amarillo is just kind of your old-fashioned green resinous hop and orange, and not much stone fruit or tropical stuff going on. And the head is still sticking around. And the Ella's coming in with a little bit of some peppery, winey New Zealand thing I always get from Ella's actually Australian. But yeah, it's got this unique Aussie green quality to it that isn't quite menthol. I often feel like the Australian hops are mentholy or eucalyptusy. And the Citra's giving us some nice creamsicle, almost juicy fruit, but not like quite bubblegum ester. It's not Belgian IPA smelling. Yeah, it smells quite nice. Pretty good body. A bit of a hop and haze bite in there, as you might guess, just from something this hazy. I'm assuming it'll maybe settle down after a while. I'm not getting much throat burn or anything unpleasant after one sip. Finish is nice and clean. It fades pretty quickly, but it just gives you a really nice citrusy, resinous hop punch, and then it recedes a little bit. Maybe there's some peachy stuff, but really big on just sweet orange. Yep, quite carbonated, making me burp. It finishes really dry, actually. It has some body, but it's not thick and really rich. It's kind of soft, but pretty spicy now in the finish, I'm noticing. Very black peppery, but almost like a fruity black pepper. The bitterness is definitely going to build up in this one. Though it has some body, it's definitely a dry and bitter double IPA. This is not all just sweet hop juice. I don't think anyone's going to want to call it watery. I feel like the high carbonation might be amping up the spiciness and kind of making it seem a little bit more stringent than it is. But still not too much throat burn or anything like that. But I feel like the aroma, it's not explosively fruity. Maybe, and it has to warm up a little bit. But this one is a little bit minerally. It's almost getting a almost slightly sulfur type thing happening that I noticed with sometimes these super duper hopped, really hazy beers. It just like they almost went overboard, and you end up getting less, like more becomes less. That's the thing that can happen at certain hopping rates. It's still pretty good in the aroma, but it doesn't smell like a luscious tropical cocktail exactly. But it isn't too green and spicy and bitter like I've had from some double IPAs look like this, but use only Galaxy hops. It can be really, it seems like it's more bitter than other hops and more green. It's just really big on the spice. I think that's what the Ella's bringing to the table too. Ella's like really floral too. It's got some flowery notes, but like harsh flowers. But if you want that hazy, citrusy, bitter punch, spicy, very potent, go for this one. If you're not in the mood for a really sweet, thick, syrupy double IPA, this one is quite bitter and dry, but not too much for me. I'm noticing some cat tongue sensation drying out my taste buds. That's what happens with a lot of these beers. But it might be one to share with people. It's not the sort of thing that I'm just like, oh, it's not crushable, but it's not sweet and savorable. It's somewhere in between. So I give it over a 4. I don't know if I quite go to 4.25. But you know, as I drink it, maybe I'll save some cans to drink when they're a little bit older. And maybe I'll notice that once some of the junk falls out of this, there will be so much spicy, resinous stuff that's kind of overtaking the palate right now. Yeah, bergamot tea, like Earl Grey. I'm getting that sort of thing, like tannic tea with citrus, but really spicy. But I guess it's pretty recommended, especially because this is not the most expensive of the hazy small batch double IPAs out there by far. Goodbye.